Wanted to bring on this guest because I don't believe in giving advice if you can't implement it yourself. Erica, it's so great to be here, also known AKA FitLove.
I am a phoenix. I rise from the ashes because I have been through shit and back. It started when my son, when he was like 2 or 3, he asked me to play on the floor with him. No, I don't. Mommy doesn't have energy right now. Like, I don't want to get up off the couch. But when I got on the scale, it's at 322 pounds. And I swear it felt like my heart like fell out of my butt. I started an Instagram page because I was like, well, I'm going to start losing weight. I want to do fitness and I want to, recipes and workouts. My platform grew. Like, I had lost 160 pounds, finally able to open a retail space. And the moment I signed that lease, 2 weeks later, I was diagnosed with stage 2 thyroid cancer.
Hey everyone, welcome back to Undeniable Proof. Oh my God, we have such an amazing topic to talk about today. Actually, one that Alexa is actually excited to talk about, believe it or not.
Yes, because I feel like the past couple have been more in your realm. It's like, we have a hospice nurse, we have a paranormal investigator, but this girl's more my speed and what I want to talk about today.
It's me stepping into your world for a change.
That's true. I didn't think about it like that, but you're right. That's exactly what it is.
But, also, I wanted to bring on this guest because I don't believe in giving advice if you can't implement it yourself.
Correct.
That is my biggest lesson to everybody. You guys know that I only teach about things that I put into work myself. You won't see me right now teaching a health course because right now I also want to learn how to be healthy. I want to learn how to, implement some things that are going to work for me. Mm-hmm. But our next guest has all of the answers because she's been there, she's done that, and she has the methods to prove it. So everybody,
fabulously.
Please welcome Erica. Erica, it's so great to be here. Also known AKA FitLove.
FitLove. Yeah. No one calls me Erica. No, my kids, my husband, they don't call me Erica. They're always like, hey, FitLove, what's for dinner? That's how they approach it.
That's great. When you told us that when we just previously talked to you on the phone, that is so funny. So you're not like mom, you don't hear mom, hey babe.
No, I have a blended family. And so you would expect that my own son that I birthed out of my body to call me mom. No, it's FitLove. Hey, FitLove, what's for dinner? Hey, FitLove, we going to soccer practice? So in this house, it's calling me Erica's a little weird in this house. So it's definitely FitLove.
That is great. I'll tell you, the branding is strong. You did a great job with your branding.
Yeah.
The branding is strong. Mm-hmm. That's amazing. Yeah. That's amazing. You've made quite the name for yourself that even your kids are proud of, which is really nice.
I got to ask the question. So is it because when you met your husband, he knew you as FitLove? Is that the reason why?
So my husband is like a boomer. He's nine years older than me. And, so me being 38 and him being closer to 50 than anything, he didn't understand what an influencer was. So we met on a blind date. So when I told him I'm an influencer, he was like, what does that even mean? And I showed him, he's like, why does it say EricaFitLove? Your name is Erica Lugo. I was like, no, you had to, back then when I started, you had to come up with a username.
Yes.
FitLove. And I was like, yeah, EricaFitLove. And so he just started calling me FitLove right after that. And has never, after our second date, that was it. My in-laws call me FitLove. It's just FitLove.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's so funny because when I met Alexa, her friends used to call me Meet Matt Fraser.
And then Matt Fraser.
Meet Matt Fraser.
I love that. I love
Matt Fraser.
That is so true. They did do that. That is so funny. Yeah.
I love that.
Yeah.
Well, before we even start, Erica, you have such an amazing story. And first of all, I want to apologize for everything that you went through back when you were younger because it's such a terrible thing to go through. And I want you to be able to tell your own story. Mm-hmm. But the reason why I want to start with this is because so many people were in or might be still are in a situation that you were in, right? Where they feel like they've lost control, whether it be with their mental health, whether it be with their relationship, whether it be with their hormones, whether it be with their physical body. And not many people can say that I've picked myself up, I've learned from it, and this is what I've learned, and I have a better life now than I did back when. And a lot of people don't understand the how. How do you do that? How do you pick yourself up when something really, really bad has happened to you? Right. Yeah. And what's so beautiful about this, and it's the silver lining, is that you've been through it all. You've been through the mental struggle. You've been through the physical struggle. You've been through the hormonal struggle. You've been through the mental, everything. So take us through where you were and where you are now.
Ooh, how much time do you have?
That's why you're here.
Like I tell people a couple things. Like I am a phoenix. I rise from the ashes because I have been through shit and back. Like I'm 38 years old, and the amount of things that I have had to overcome is just like I almost feel like my life has been like wham, wham, wham. Like just how many things can keep me down. So it started when my son, he's going to be 14, and which I can't. Well, no, he's going to be 15. Oh my gosh, I can't believe I just messed it up. He's going to be driving here soon. But when he was like 2 or 3, he asked me, closer to 3, he asked me to play on the floor with him. And at that point, like, I'm 5'11". I've always been built just a little bit bigger. Like my hands are big. So like, I didn't really think anything of my weight. But back then when he asked me to play on the floor, I was like, no, I don't, mommy doesn't have energy right now. Like, I don't want to get up off the couch. I don't want to have to like pick up toys. And like, I was just tired. I sat on the couch after work. I worked a 9 to 5, and something in me was just like, holy shit, I just told my 3-year-old I can't play with him. Like there's something little wrong with that. So I don't know what like pushed me to go get the scale out of the closet. But when I got on the scale, it said 322 pounds. And I swear it felt like my heart like fell out of my butt. Like it was like a moment, and I was like, oh my gosh. Like, again, I know I've always been built big. I'm 5'11", but I was like, wow, 322 pounds is like, how people have like body dysmorphia and they think that they're bigger than what they are. I thought I was skinnier than what I was. Like that was my body dysmorphia. So I just started like going to the gym. Planet Fitness just opened like 5 minutes away. And that's how I started. And then like my journey obviously evolved over time. I started an Instagram page, and I'll never forget. I started it because my ex-husband's niece, she was like 11 at the time. She had this app and she's like, oh yeah, look, I got 1,000 followers. And I was like, what the hell is that? Like, you're 11. I don't even know 1,000 people. And she was like, this app is just like photo sharing, and like you can meet people who have the same interests as you. So I started one because I was like, well, I'm going to start losing weight. I want to do fitness, and I want to, recipes and workouts. So I just started tracking stuff on my own with Erica Lugo 86 as my handle. And I'll never forget a major page. And back then, like a major page meant like 1,500 followers, right? They shouted me out and they were like, look at this transformation. I had lost like 50 pounds at that point. And I freaked out because I was like, oh my gosh, 1,500 people are going to know my first name, last name, and the year I was born. Like I laugh because I'm like, that's everywhere now. It's plastered everywhere. So like, that's how I changed my name on Instagram, because I was like, oh my God, people can't know. So that's how EricaFitLove was born. So, evolved over years. I ended up getting divorced, becoming a single mom, and my platform grew. Like I had lost 160 pounds. And then like life really started changing for me. Obviously fitness was like my love. I fell in love with it. I lost all the weight through fitness. So I decided to open up my own studio, and it was like an old stinky body garage, like smelled like oil. We had no windows. We had one door. I don't know how I grew it. People stuck with me through that. And, I put all the money that I earned from there, because I was a single mom. I was living on a mattress. My son had a bed because I couldn't afford one. Like as a single mom, when you don't have a lot of money, you will spend all your money on him. So I gave him everything, and I bought secondhand used equipment, built my studio up, took all that money, and I was finally able to like open a retail space, like one that was like in an actual like, shopping plaza, and like have my own team up top. And the moment I signed that lease, 2 weeks later, I was diagnosed with stage 2 thyroid cancer. I got in a terrible car accident. I should have died. I say it was my angels looking over me, or God's way of saying like, hey, you need to pay attention to this issue, because I don't think I would have found out. So in the hospital to check for head and neck injuries, they found a lump on the right side of my neck, and it was stage 2 thyroid cancer. It had already started to spread. I'll never forget, I was getting the needle biopsy, and the doctor doing my needle biopsy made me feel he was like, you're young, you're healthy. Oh my gosh, I heard that you're opening a new fitness place in Centerville. Super exciting. Oh my gosh, I followed you on Instagram and whatever. He's like, I'll be right back. I'm going to get your results. And I was like, you do that here? He was like, yeah. He comes back and his whole face was completely different. He held a piece of paper and he was like, and all I saw, like I get goosebumps still, like all I saw was stage 2 thyroid cancer spread, like underlined like 3 times. And I was like, what do I do? Right. Yeah.
Let me ask you, did you think at that moment, like, I'm going to die? Like, did you think at that moment, like where was your head when you heard that?
Yeah. I was a single mom. I just started dating my now husband. Like we've only been dating for less than a year. So like, I think 6 months. I just invested all this money into this brand new studio. Instagram was starting to go crazy. I just got to be on a cover of Women's Health magazine. Like for me, I felt like my life was just starting with all these amazing opportunities.
Wow.
And
Right. And you get this.
Yeah. And I told Instagram first that I had cancer before I told my son, because I was so terrified to tell Connor. And I get emotional thinking about this moment. But I remember I told him, I sat on the floor. We had a little condo because I was able to like, move up in the world a little bit.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
I tell him, I said, Mommy's really sick right now. People are going to come over and help Mommy. Mommy's going to be in the hospital. And he looks at me and goes, are you going to die? Ooh, I get emotional. And I was like, no, baby, like your mommy's not going to die. But I was like, I didn't know, like back, again, social media wasn't as like widespread as it is now. There wasn't more awareness about thyroid cancer, and hearing spread to lymph nodes. That's just terrifying for anyone. So, had full thyroidectomy.
But before this even happened, were you angry? Were you like, oh my God, like I just lost all this weight. I'm getting my life back on track. Like I've met the man of my dreams.
The right thing.
I'm doing the right things. And like, why did the universe throw this curveball at me? Why is it that like I'm at my best weight, I'm feeling good, and now all of a sudden this?
Yeah, I felt like a slap in the face, and I felt like my body was working against me, and I was really, I was really pissed off. Like, even a year earlier, I've kind of gone through that on a smaller scale. I found out I'd had an autoimmune disorder. I was really sick. I was tired all the time. So like, it was constantly like, okay, bam, I got over that. Life's getting back on track. I know how to manage it a little bit better.
Right.
And bam, thyroid cancer. Wow, this is even bigger. This could kill me. Yeah, I was pissed off. Like I worked really hard and now I'm sick. And, it's been a life-changing event ever since having my thyroid out. So, I was able to get through that. And then Biggest Loser came shortly after. I had radiation in March or April of 2019. And then I was on Biggest Loser campus in that summer. Like I had went through the interview process May. So like 2 months after radiation. And I remember the casting producer being like, like if you get this job, you're going to be working 15-hour days. Is that something your body can do? And I was like, fuck yeah. Like I'm coming back doing this. I was on campus months later.
So when you just came into The Biggest Loser, right? You had just overcome this huge cancer scare, and it wasn't even a scare; it was an operation. It was radiation. It was all of these treatments.
Yeah.
When you came into this, and of course you met the man of your dreams, do you think that was like motivation for you? That like I have this amazing man, I have my son, like I want to, like it just pushed you forward. Like I have to beat this. I have to keep going. And at that time, were you cancer free completely? Were you still in remission? Like where was your body at that moment, and where was your head at?
That's such a loaded, because like I look back at that time and I'm like, what the hell was I thinking? So I had just got done with radiation. Biggest Loser reached out to me. I went through the interview process and I was like, okay, I think I'm really close to getting this job. But to get this job, let me tell you what I had to go through. And I've never told this to anyone. So they had to do a background check on me, right? Obviously, you're putting someone on national television. You don't want shit to come back to the network. Mm-hmm. So in the background check, they found that I had gotten a car accident like 5 years prior, like a fender bender. And the lady had sued me and my insurance. So that was on my record. So they're like, we need you to get a letter from this woman to verify, like, yes, it's settled. And I was like, are you fucking kidding me? So I got that. Then they were like, okay, you have 2 certifications to be a personal trainer, but we really want you to have this one. And I was like, yeah, cool. How long do I need to pass that? And they're like, we need you to pass it in like less than a week. People spend a year on this certain certification. All right. It was like $2,300. You had to study. You had to go to a proctored exam. So I was like, oh my goodness, fuck it. All right, let's spend $2,300. I'm a single mom, but like, we're going to go for it. And I was just buying my first house and opening the studio after cancer. So I'm like moving in, trying to figure out my life, feeling better, studying for this test nonstop. So then I had to pass that. I passed it. And then they also said something else came up where I was like, how many things do I have to jump through to get to this damn show? Oh, and that was obviously my son. I was like, well, how long am I going to be gone for? And they're like, probably 3 months. Yeah. I'm like, am I going to be a bad mom? Like, what is this? Like pros and cons. And I was like, okay, this will serve him better in the long run because the opportunities and I can take care of him. So it was like, what? Oh, and then the last thing was that what is, Matt, to your question, was in my own remission. So they're like, well, we know that you just went through this. We can't have someone on the show that's sick, like liability wise, we can't have someone. So we need to go to your doctor and we need you to have another blood test to prove that there is no cancer found in your body. And I was like, dear Lord, like I have no control over this. Everything else I had control over. And I was like, how many things do I have to jump through to get to this damn show? So I begged my doctor, because the doctor was like, we don't do that unless you're 5 years, like your body's still fighting. And I was like, please, like I need, like, please just let me have this test. He let me have the test. It came back clear. No cancer found in my body. So I was able, like, and then I had to wait to see if I got the job, right? I did. You know, she called me and she's like, good news or bad news first? And I was like, bad news. And she's like, bad news is you have to be on a plane tomorrow in less than 12 hours and be gone for 3 months. Good news is you got the job. So, you know, to Matt's question, like I had all of this stuff fueling me, and the majority of my life growing up, I've always been the person who, like, the girl with the pretty face, like, oh, you know, like you're pretty for your size. I was never popular in high school. I never really, when I went to school, I didn't know what the hell I wanted to do with myself. I never got a degree. And I finally found something that was like something I was good at, like something I can connect with people. And I was like, I'm going to prove every asshole wrong who told me that I couldn't. I had an ex-boyfriend one time who told me, you're not even a real trainer. You're never going to be. He said to me, I was like, yes, I am. You know, so
now.
I just was like, I'm like a full blown Capricorn. Like if you tell me no, I'm going to come back 3 times harder and show you yes. And like, I want to climb the ladder. Like I want to be a badass. So like that was just like fueling me. I'm like, okay, this is my time. I was already sick once. I came back and got sick again. Like I got one life. Like we're going to fucking go for it. That's what I did. That's what I did.
So let me ask you, what was your motivation? Like every time that you just felt like that somebody just came and pulled the carpet out from under you, like what kept you getting back up, saying, like, because most people would just walk away when the doctor says like, no, we don't do this. We're not going to do this for you. It's like, sorry, you know, it's just, it might not be meant to be. Yeah. What kept you going? What kept you?
I was just thinking that because I overthink, and I would have thought of that as like a sign. I would have been like, this is a sign.
I can be that way too.
Do it. Yeah, like I overthink like crazy. So I was like, okay, I would be like, this is definitely a sign. Like I am not supposed to do the show. Like what's going to happen? Yeah. So what kept you like just pushing forward and forward and forward?
So I think my faith in God, for one. I know it can be a very cliche answer, but you know, I love it. I grew up Catholic, you know, doing the rosary with my grandmother, and you know, like just having that personal connection with God, like to get me through. And I've seen some amazing things that God has done in my life. I also have a tattoo on my shoulder that says you were given this life because you're strong enough to live it. So I was like, if I got that on my back, like I'm going to live up to this shit. You know what I mean? Like, but I just like to prove people wrong. I'm the type of person where I will quietly work behind the scenes, and then I'm in your face again. And they're like, oh shit, Erica's back again. Like,
yeah, here she is.
Yeah.
And better.
Yeah. I work in silence, and I love that about myself. Like I will never tell people all these cool things that I've got going on. And then till like my book will be in Barnes and Nobles next year, and they'll be like, oh shit, I didn't even know she was working on a book. Like that's what I want. You know what I mean? So that's kind of my motivation, to always shock people, because no one expects it from me.
Now, what were your signs for cancer? Now, when you, you know, that you had that realization, you kind of bent down and you were like, oh my God, I literally cannot play with my son right now. I mean, we have an almost 3-year-old, and I know what that's like. You're just constantly on the floor, and I'm 9 months pregnant. You're constantly getting done. You're constantly using energy. And the fact that you were like, wait, how do I have no energy to play with my son? Yeah. Was that one of your indications of cancer? Because I know thyroid can fluctuate weight a lot.
I was actually thinking the same thing. Was the thyroid, the fact that you had so much weight that you gained, was that attributed to the thyroid cancer, or was it 2 different things?
No, I really just like to eat. I still like to eat. I'm not going to lie. Like, I'm not, you know, I never grew up in a household where we talked about food or fitness. And, you know, God bless my mom. Like she worked her ass off raising 3 girls for the majority of, you know, my childhood. And it was Hamburger Helper and Pop-Tarts. Like I brought home Hamburger Helper just like as a nostalgia thing the other day and the kids were like, what the hell is this? I'm like, what? I haven't raised you. Like, you don't know what a Hamburger Helper is? Like, you have a great childhood, you know, like that's what I lived off of. So like, we had, And my mom didn't have the money to give us luxuries. Like when other people would get good grades or like get vacations, it was like, here's a pizza, here's a cake. Oh, like
Wow.
your heart's broken. Here's some ice cream, or, oh, like good job on your grades. Here's a full pizza. Like, so I've always used food as kind of like that fuel. So when it came to my thyroid, honestly, I had zero symptoms. Like I lost all that weight. I lost 160 pounds. I had great energy. I felt good that I can remember. The one thing that was an issue, which is a big one, was my heart was like palpitating. And I actually passed out at the gym one time, and, I woke up with the manager like waving me down, and they're like, you okay? You okay? And I was like, yeah, I'm fine. I went to a cardiologist to get checked, and my heart was fine. So, I actually passed out while driving, like that car accident, like I said. And they said because the mass was on a passageway between my head and my heart, so it wasn't able to communicate. So that was the only symptom I had. No thyroid issues, but where I am now with what I do for a living, I realized like I wasn't taken seriously, and lab work wasn't taken seriously or really looked into. And I know that now. And we can talk about that later, but yeah, no actual like physical symptoms for sure.
Wow. So tell everyone what you do. What is it that you do? What is this brand, this Love Fit brand that you have made for yourself after overcoming all of this craziness?
Yeah. So my brand has vastly changed the last couple of years. People have followed me for the last 10 years because I was like the fitness girl. I was doing crazy ass workout moves and boot camp, and I was a trainer on The Biggest Loser, and I was a spokesperson for Planet Fitness, like just really amazing.
Wow.
And 3 years ago, I don't even know, well, I know now, but like it was like a light switch flipped. Like one moment I was fine, and the next I was not fine. I woke up one morning, I was massively anxious. I felt like I had adrenaline running through my body the moment I woke up. Like, that feeling like, something scary is going to happen.
Absolutely.
So,
that happens to me all the time.
And so it would be like waves, and then it would just be all day. Okay, that's not right. And I just couldn't like go to the gym like I used to because my body wasn't feeling good. And then I got super anxious that I went to the doctor because my husband was like, girl, I don't know what's wrong with you. I was like, me either. This isn't like me. I get the classic story, get prescribed antidepressants. Antidepressants don't work. In fact, they make me worse. They gave me black box warnings. And I remember sitting in the shower one day when my husband was gone, and I had just, was on, I think they prescribed me Zoloft. And I remember sitting in the shower with my hands on my head, shaking back and forth, being like, I can't do this. I can't do this. Like, it was making me so like giving me suicidal ideation. And so doctors were like, okay, let's take you off this. Let's try another one. Let's try another one. None of them made me better. In fact, they all made me worse. And then I just became really, really depressed. I couldn't get out of bed. I was gaining weight. I was having multiple periods. I was getting like terrible cystic acne on my face. It was just like, I was a completely different person. I had no idea who I was. I went to therapy. I did everything. And I went to the doctors. I'm like, something is not right with me. And they're like, no, you're fine. Your lab work's fine. Everything looks good. I'm like, no, I'm telling you, I know something is wrong with me. Now, I've always been woo-woo or crunchy or whatever you want to call it, right? Like,
I love that. Yep.
My kids say I have sad food in the house because I'm very organic and clean.
Oh, that's funny.
And so I was like, my business partner owns a functional health coaching company. So 2 months before I started getting really sick, he came to me and said, hey, I really want to work with you on this new company. I know you love this. Like, you're good at this. Like, do you want to buy this with me? And I was like, yeah, sure. I call that like a God thing for me, because if I had not purchased that company, I don't know if I would truly be here. It got so bad. I made an emergency plan with my husband. I wrote down mental health clinics and said, you need to take me here because I am not going to live. I'm going to take my own life. And this is coming from someone who has never had a depressive thought in her life. I have never had a low mood, and I was ready to be done. And I was like, okay, doctors aren't listening to me. So I need to go to my coaches and my RN and see like what the hell they can do. Cause I'm like, I know they help people like wanting to lose weight and some thyroid imbalance, like the mental health aspect. I was like, I have no idea. So
wait a minute. Before you had gotten there, did you exhaust all options? Like, did you go to everybody and you're like, I'm sure you went, let's try different medications. Let's try a different doctor. Let's bring you to the specialist. Let's try this. Yep. So like, how many options, if you were to just list a number, like how many options did you try before you went there?
At least 20. At least 20.
Wow.
Because I think that's important. I think that's important because like people need to know when they hear your story, like it wasn't just, oh, I flipped a switch and just went and this happened. It's like you were at a time when you were desperate and you're like,
it's like a journey.
I'm going to lose myself if I don't figure what's going on. And like, I can feel it just as you're talking to me, like you were up against the wall.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And my husband, like from a spouse perspective, like you don't know how to help your spouse when you see them as a completely different human who's suffering and saying these things. So, there was a little bit of like frustration and hesitancy from him too, because he doesn't know how to react or how to help. And it makes him frustrated. And then that was like a whole loop. But I said, I need you to come to this doctor's appointment with me because I have tried so many things. And it was another psychiatry appointment. I said, I need you to listen to what they're telling me because it's so much information. I'm so overwhelmed and I need to make sure I'm doing the right thing. So we go and he was like, okay, this medication's not working for her. She said, okay, we're going to give her another one. He's like, well, the last time we gave her that one, I gave her major mood swings. She's like, oh, we'll give her a mood stabilizer. He's like, she's not sleeping either. Oh, we're going to give her a sleeping pill. He's like, oh, she's not.
Oh my God.
So he looked at her and said, you don't even know my wife. And you're going to give her 5 different medications right now and say, see you in 6 months. He's like, absolutely not. So, I love that he was strong-headed for me, but he also was like, Erica, I can't watch you 24/7. I can't be home with you 24 hours a day to make sure you don't do something to yourself. I need you to fight like hell. And he took me to a lot that we had bought because we bought our dream land to build our dream home. And he said,
oh my goodness,
look what you achieved by all this hard shit you got through. Like you're the one who bought this land and I need you here so we can build this house for our kids. And I looked at him and said, I'm not going to make it. Like, I'm not going to.
It's just crazy because it's like, as these bad things were happening to you, you had so many good things happening at the same time. It's like your life is like a mirror. So it's like on one hand, you're dealing with like this unbelievable news of cancer, but then you're also like, Biggest Loser.
Yep.
Then you're opening your own gym and brand and everything. But then on this hand, you're dealing with these hormones. I mean, it's unbelievable what you had to overcome in order to, and I have to tell you, I have such a similar story, so minor compared to yours. But of course we had our first baby in 2022, our little Royce, and I have never done well with hormones. Ever. But I was lucky. I got off birth control a couple years before we even tried, kind of got that out of my system because I'm a big believer in like, sometimes things are just like not meant to be in your body. Mm-hmm. And that's a whole other conversation. But took my, IUD out that really wasn't working for me anyway, hormone wise. And I was able to get pregnant right away.
That's amazing. Yeah.
Fast forward to, birth and everything. I was fine. I had an awful hormone crash, postpartum depression and anxiety, another story. But my main story, to match what you were just saying, is we were trying for our second baby and it just wasn't happening. And I'm like, how in God, like I'm 25, like how in God's name am I not, we got pregnant once, like the first time. I'm like, something is not right. Like something is not right. I was getting so depressed, such bad anxiety around my periods. I thought I was started to do crazy research. I'm like, maybe it's PMDD. Maybe it's still postpartum depression. I just felt something was off and I couldn't pinpoint it. My attitude wasn't right. I was kind of snappy. I was like less patient with our son. Yeah. And I'm like, what? I wasn't happy. I'm like, what is going on? Like, what is going on? So finally I told Matt, I'm like, I think I have to go to the OB and like, I wonder if do like hormone testing on me, because I swear, like I just felt it. Like I feel like as women, we're so intuitive with our body, and I just knew. And I ended up getting like I got like 3 periods, or like skipped a period. I got like 2 periods in a month, and I'm like, no. I've always been regular. Like something is not right. But I will say I'm very lucky to have a great OB, and he actually, and I wish you could get him because like you would love him. He was all about natural fixes.
Love that.
Diet, exercise, cutting out gluten, cutting out dairy, just making these like lifestyle, keep exercise. I've always been in, going to the gym and exercising, but he was actually the one because I told him, I said, I know you can go on like a medication for PMDD and that might be what I'm dealing with, but I'm not a medication person. I really don't prefer that. That is never my first instinct to go to medication. And that's why I like you so much.
But wait
because
a minute.
I know you go more, the natural route. And that's what my OB did for me. And that was really helpful. But it was just like you. I was like, something is not right. Not to your, it was definitely mental. And I was very lucky not to have, those suicidal thoughts because easily they could go to that very easily. And I got very close postpartum.
But wait a minute.
Yeah.
Before Erica answers, right? I just want to, because I want to lead you in, Erica, just on this one point. So the thing is that coming to those appointments with you, and being by your side with different doctors, much like Erica had her husband there.
Yeah.
The hardest part is when they say it's normal. It's normal.
As women, that's all we hear.
And I feel like I'm not a woman, but I sat by your side and it's like, well,
yeah.
I feel like there's an issue with my hormones. Can I get my hormones tested? And it's like,
oh yeah,
we're not going to find anything.
Yeah, everything is normal in women's health. Everything is normal. You could be begging for help, like begging for help, and everything is just normal. And that's why in pregnancy, you'll laugh at me because I could be like a hypochondriac, and I'm like, no, you don't understand because it could be nothing or it could be everything. And you're not going to tell me.
Yeah.
So it's like either I'm dying or like I'm half gas. Like, it's like, you've been pregnant and it's unbelievable.
Yeah.
We're just not taken as, I don't know if listen, I'm not in any of like your appointments really. Sometimes I'll go with you, but I definitely feel like we're not taken as serious as men are. And it's always like, because we have menopause and periods in hormones and, we carry children, they just don't want to acknowledge that, okay, wow, maybe they are a little off. Maybe, wow, they really know their body. Like, yeah, let's test her. Let's do, so it drives me crazy. And that's exactly what they said. They're like, well, I'm like, I think I should get tested for like, I want to see like my hormones like laid out. Like, I want to see what's going on. Yeah. And they're like, we don't usually do that. I mean, what are you like looking
why
to
do you need it? Yeah.
Like I'm crying on the couch, like depressed. Something is clearly wrong.
Yeah. And that's why I took this company to where I took it because women's healthcare is vastly underserved. There's major statistics, when doctors go to school, they learn, 0 time unless they're specializing in menopause and perimenopause. They learn zero time about women's hormones. All medications, it started in 1993, did major pharmaceutical companies start doing testing on females versus just strictly male. So all these medications that have been around before 1993, which is a shit ton that we're still using, have only been tested on men. It also takes women on average 5 to 7 years longer to get an actual diagnosis than men. Women are prescribed antidepressants at a 3-time higher rate than men, especially for things like pain, hormone-related things, because they think that we're just anxious. And, women... Also, cardiovascular disease is super high in us because our symptoms often get ignored as like anxiety or just thinking too much. So the symptoms are there when it comes to women's health, which is why I'm so damn passionate about this company because it allows women not only access to education, but learning how to advocate for themselves and fight for themselves and fight like hell. Because if I didn't fight like hell, I would not be here. And now I'm at that point where I'm like, okay, I don't have a thyroid. I'm in perimenopause. I've dealt with the mental health aspects because of hormones. So if something's a little off with my body, I know now how to course correct for myself by myself. Or if I need further help with someone higher than my education, I know how to at least go talk to them and advocate for myself to make sure I get what I need. And that's why FitLove Health is like so important to me right now.
Yeah. Oh my God. That's amazing that you have those statistics at the top of your head. That's absolutely insane. It's amazing. And I can see how passionate you are about it, just having those there, because those are statistics that I've heard as well. So
Erica, you are a spiritual warrior. And let me tell you that I love that you advocated for yourself and now you're advocating for other people and you're helping them get access to the resources that you wish that you would have found out about, earlier in your journey.
Yeah.
But what I also love so much about you is that you have this story. It might not have been fun to go through, but you have this amazing story that says, look what I can do and you can do this too. And, anybody, I think that, I'm not a woman, but, I know all the clients who come to me and people come to me, people get so wrapped up in social media where they see these beautiful pictures of beautiful people and they're like, oh, this girl is so lucky. This girl is so lucky. She's got the perfect body. She's got the perfect abs. You have the perfect body now, Erica, and the way that you eat and you're fit and you're this, but it wasn't always that way. You worked to get to where you are now.
So hard.
Right.
Yeah.
And I think that you're the inspiration for people to be like, wow, like this girl, to just stop. And the reason why to have you on is to hear the story and to be like, oh my God, I would have, if I just came across your Instagram and just saw you, I would never believe the story that you've been through to get to where you are now. And it's not just about looking good.
Amazing.
It's about feeling good. And if you just look at her Instagram right now, I mean, Erica looks like a picture of health. Yeah. You would never know.
Sometimes I'm looking like a train wreck on there. I'm going to be honest with you. I don't.
Oh, no way.
But first off, I appreciate you saying that to me because I think we're all our own biggest critics when it comes to this. And like at this this part in my brand, I'm no longer, as much as I love fitness, like I still train some clients just to get out of the house, and like I love my alone time at the gym and like filming workout stuff. But like I feel like I've evolved a little bit. And with that evolution, my body has changed through perimenopause. Like, it's coming to all of us if we're lucky enough women, it's coming to all of us if we're lucky enough to live long enough. And with that comes like changes in how your body responds to fitness and how your body responds to food. So things that worked for me in my 20s, or hell, even in my Biggest Loser days or my Women's Health magazine days, don't work for me now. And like, my body shape has changed, even though I'm still really strong and I have great muscle. Like, I'm not used to not being as lean as I used to be, but I look at it more of like, okay, I'm healthier than I was back then. And I'm doing things the right way. Like my hormones are happy. My cycle is regular. My mental health is good. Like my thyroid numbers is good. And that means just having a little bit less, leanness and a little bit more, fat percentage. That's like, I'm okay with that. But I feel like that's like the evolution of women, right? Like we kind of go through, like, we feel so amazing. We've done all these things. And then like, we're like, shit, now our body's changing again. Like, who am I? And like, how do I fit to this new version of myself?
You are so right. And I even, this just happened to me as well with, postpartum.
Yeah.
2 years postpartum before I got pregnant again. And how many times did my body change like drastically after postpartum, mentally, physically, and then trying to get pregnant again. And I swear I was at like my best. I was like at my fighting weight height. I felt so good mentally. I felt back to myself. And then boom, I felt pregnant again. And then everything I had like a sickness in the beginning of my pregnancy. And I'm just like, oh my God. And my mom always tells me, if I'm ever going through something, she's like, well, women's body, we change every 7 years. She's like, so what year are you on? She has always said that since we were kids. Like, what year is?
I think that's taste buds, not women's bodies. I'm pretty sure that's taste buds change every 7 years. I haven't heard that one in all of my education. I'll have to research that one.
Oh my God, that's so funny. She's like, it must be the 7th year because like, how old are you? Like, you must be changing. So, it's so interesting. And I didn't think about that. And I actually have to, because I'm a young mom. Like I gave birth at 24 and 26. So I'm still like in my mid 20s. Like I have so much changing to do still and more kids to have. And that's going to change. And everything it's crazy how much women change. And it's insane to me how stagnant men stay. I just don't understand why they don't have to go through anything that we go through.
I always have to remind my husband because, he met me when I was like at the top of my game, right? Like I was Biggest Loser. I was lean as shit. I mean, I was on cover of women's magazines and I was like doing all this amazing stuff. I was hot. I'm not going to lie. Sometimes I look back and I'm like, damn girl, like, damn. But like, as my body has changed, right? Like he wakes up, he's like, man, I feel so good. I'm like, oh, I'm a little tired. He's like, you say that a little bit more often. I said, hey, you have a 24-hour hormonal cycle. I have a 31-day hormonal cycle. So like you wake up and you're ready to go with like testosterone and all these estrogen, all of your progesterone and estrogen. It takes me 30 days to like get leveled out. So I always have to remind him about that. Like, don't you come at me. You boost every morning. I got to wait a whole month.
What? And my husband will never agree with this. He will die on this hill, and he will never agree with this. He's going to get so upset with me right now.
There we go.
But I also read, and Erica, I'm sure you can vouch for this. Women need more sleep than men.
Like 9 to 10 hours. Absolutely.
And more quality sleep because of all of our hormonal changes, the ups and downs, and what we go through in a daily basis. I mean, if anyone saw physically what we started out at like 7 a.m. to 7 p.m. and 12 a.m. and just our whole day compared to men, I mean, it's unbelievable.
Well, clearly I'm outnumbered. So
you are outnumbered.
I'm
Get
going
out
to
of
put
here.
Matt in his spot really quick, and I'm going to tell him why. Okay, there's actual science behind that. Okay, so whatever you believe, right? Men were made, like, first off, as humans, we were made to get up with the sun and go down with the sun, right? And back way in the day, men were the hunter and gatherers and the providers for the family. So they were meant to go out and like outchase lions, tigers, and bears and hunt and skin and cook and like withstand all these weather elements to go out and provide for the family. So men's cortisol response, which is your stress response, is way higher, and your body can withstand way more stress than women's, because women were made to just create babies. That's what when you know what we were made for, that's it. We were just made to create babies. So our body was meant to go on a 30-day cycle, create a baby, relax, breastfeed, raise a baby, do it again, right? So now we have women who are working, raising kids, doing all this physical output, doing as much stress as men, but our bodies are not made to withstand that. So it's a response. It's totally proven. If you think about it, it's true, right? You're like, well, shit. Yeah, that's how we were made. And we just don't live like that, but we don't live that way anymore. So you know what, girl, you go to bed at 7, you wake up at 10 o'clock, you deserve it. Like I'm going to be a full out.
Wait a minute. I also going to tell you,
I will never get that amount of rest, but yes.
wait. You being pregnant, right? I can tell you that like when I watch you do things pregnant, I'm like, I don't know how women do what they do. Like I can't imagine like that there are women out there working all throughout their pregnancy, doing the same job that a man can, right? While pregnant, because I see how exhausted you are, how tired you are, how much it takes on your body. And I'm thinking like every single time I'm thinking to myself, like, oh my God, like it's changed my mind as a man going to a restaurant and having the waitress when she's pregnant, like serving me, whatever. I'm like, oh my God, how is she doing this? Like I always make sure like I tip a little bit more. Yeah. Same thing like when you're at Starbucks and it's the barista, whoever it is, I'm like, wow.
And then
I have to say, yes.
And then
I don't want to
not only that, but what their body goes through postpartum, right? And then we expect women, we're only given like, what is it maternity leave now? Like,
6 weeks, if that.
I went back to work 5 weeks after I had Connor because I had no other choice. But like, you got to think like we're only giving women 6 weeks. You are crashing drastically of estrogen and progesterone within 24 hours, right? Not only that, so you get that big drop, but then you also get like a boost of oxytocin, prolactin, which is like, oh, I love this baby, but I'm really sad because my estrogen. So like, imagine like your brain is fighting against each other because you're getting 2 different types of chemicals just like rushing to your brain, right? And then you have all the other things. The older you get, you also have like, speaking of thyroid, like the chances of getting thyroiditis is like super high. You know, blood sugar roller coaster you have to be mindful of. It's a lot. So like imagine like not only being pregnant, but like being expected to have a baby, go back and do all this stuff, withstand that high cortisol work life thing that we were talking about, and then deal with all those hormones crashing in as well. It's like what women go through is insane. Like I ask my husband every day, says, I'm so glad I'm not a woman. I'm so glad I'm not a woman. I'm so glad I don't deal with that.
You say that too. I know. I don't. And it's so funny. Listen, it's just funny to me too, how like women are also perceived in, life and in like in social as like the weaker or not weaker, but like not as strong as men.
No, we're totally.
And it's like, I got cut open 7 layers while awake. A baby ripped out of me that I grew for 9 months straight. How are we not the stronger. I don't know. Listen,
Oh, I get you.
I'm not even like a feminist, but this is just like something after being pregnant and having a child.
I'm
like,
telling you what, yes, my husband said something the other day and I ripped him a new asshole. I'm going to be honest with you. We were talking about, he said something about, I was like, the word tough came up and I was like, do you think I'm tough? And he was like, no. And I was like, excuse me? I was like, what do you mean? And he was like, you're not tough. I was like, first off, before I get really fucking pissed, I'm like, what is your definition of tough? Right.
Correct.
And he was like, well, like if you needed to beat someone up right now, I'm like, okay, like that. No, I'm not going to go beat someone up in the alley. I was like, he was like, you're resilient. I was like, okay, like
we do purposeful things.
Stuff. Yeah. Like women are tough and we're resilient just in different ways of tough. But like, I was like, excuse your finest pardon. Like, what do you mean?
Yeah,
you better
but wait a minute.
Yeah.
So do you find that a lot of women come to you like with postpartum and with, you know, certain hormonal issues like that? Because like the hardest thing is that it's invisible, right? Mm-hmm. Nobody can see it. No, it doesn't come up on blood work, but at the same time, you can feel it in your body. I mean, I don't know, but going by what I watched my wife go through, it's hard. And I think the hardest thing about just watching you go through this was that I felt like I couldn't tell people because like, or when I did tell people, it wasn't taken like seriously. Like when I was like, oh, Alexis.
Like, oh, everyone has. Oh, I had that.
Yes.
Like that.
Yes. Yeah.
And it's like, or if I'm like, oh, Alexa's not feeling that, you know, it's Alexa's feeling down. She's feeling depressed. Everyone's like, oh, it's just postpartum. Oh, it's just that.
It's the baby blues.
Yes. Yeah.
And the hardest thing is also trying to go and like make excuses, right? And say like I remember being at the time, like until we got like everything figured out, I'm like, I don't want to tell her story. I don't want to tell anyone like what's going on and whatnot because you know, at the time people were asking, oh, where's Alexa? Where's Alexa? Where's Alexa? And I didn't want to be like, she's at home depressed. And then be like, well, why is she depressed? You know, is it an issue with your marriage? Is it an issue with this?
She just had a baby. Like,
yeah. No, honestly, you know, we have a lot of women who are I would say my following more is like at my age. They're between 35 and upwards of like 50 and sprinkled in like 60, things like that. But my audience has grown up with me. So, you know, I've been on the platform for over 10 years, probably 12 years now. So like when I first started, I was in my late 20s. So people were like in the fitness era with me of like, go hard, shine later, sleep when you're dead, eat less calories, 2 hours on the Stairmaster. And then that, you know, drove our bodies into the ground. And now we're all paying for it. We've had babies, we're building families, we're all trying to lose weight. And now everyone is struggling with, okay, I'm anxious, I'm depressed, my periods are a mess. My thyroid is a mess. My hair is falling out. I can't lose weight. I'm getting acne. Like, honestly, women are like a shitstorm right now. And I think it's just because years and years and years of abusing our bodies, being ignored, and then doing, you know, women come in contact with over 700 chemicals before they leave the house. So like all the endocrine disruptors that we have. So most people come to me and they're like, I'm just a mess. I honestly don't know what's wrong with me. I don't know if it's perimenopause. I don't know if it's postpartum. I don't know if it's thyroid.
It could be 1,000 things as a woman. Like so much shit.
Yeah. So what we do is like after they go to their doctor, like I did, I went, 20 different routes and they're like, my doctor says my lab work's normal, or no, I'm too young to go through this. We then look at lab work and we say, hey, there's a difference between normal and there's a difference between optimal, right? So like what's normal for some person is not going to be optimal for you, especially if you're symptomatic. So like, let's deep dive in this. So we have the ability to purchase whatever lab work a person needs. And we as coaches, and we have an RN on staff, can be like, okay, this is kind of going more towards thyroid, or this is going towards gut health. We can do everything. And we look at the full 360. Wow. And we don't just say, okay, here's what's going wrong with you. Here's a prescription. Here's supplementations. We'll see you in 6 months. We say, this is what your lab work says. This is how it's showing up symptomatically. So let's build a food, fitness, lifestyle, supplementation, possible HRT program for you. Not only that, but we're going to coach you through it every single week because your body is going to change so much and you're going to have so many questions and you're going to feel better some days. You're going to feel worse some days. And we want to be able to talk you through that. And that's why we're going to coach you through this. So instead of just like throwing them to the wolves with like 6 different supplements and saying like, yeah, okay, this is wrong with you. We want to be able to hold your hand through it and eventually not need us. Like I would love to keep a client forever, but then that's a disservice to me and that's a disservice to them. Like I want you to go like spread your wings and take on the world and like feel better. And then if something were to ever happen, you'd be like, well, shit, Erica taught me this. And I know how to go to the doctor and ask for exactly what I need and not staying down, So that's, I love giving women the gift of being like, your body is yours. Like, and what you can do with it is really amazing if you just give it what it needs on its own timeline instead of trying to rush everything and trying to force things, right? I think that's one of the best tools that I can give women is that realization.
Speaking of tools, is that an Aura ring that you have on?
Yes, I love it. I have everything. I've got everything.
How do you feel about an Aura ring? Do you feel that that is a helpful tool for women? Because my sister and my mom actually just got one. I'm thinking of getting one postpartum because I think it's important. It gives you really good alerts and
you should. Yeah.
keeps you on track.
Yeah, I mean, especially for you, your basal body temperature is going to be changing pretty drastically. So you're going to want to check that. Your HRV is, how you're responding to stress. And if you plan on breastfeeding, you want to keep in mind the stress,
and I do
what your body is going through, then you pass on to your baby, right? Through breast milk. And one thing too, I always tell mothers, postpartum mothers who come to me, and freak out about like health things like that. And they're like, well, I don't know if my baby, I don't want my baby to get this. I don't want my baby to get this. I'm like, listen, I don't want to freak you out. I don't want to make you think anyway, but like the blueprint has already been made, right? Like what you've been through and your genetics, like whether it be trauma or actual epidemiology, like that's already passed on to the baby, right? So like, let's just do your best now and not freak out about like, oh, what if, because like, again, that blueprint's already been made. But things like cortisol, through the breast milk is very something to be mindful of. So you can kind of see how your body's responding to stress. Your sleep, obviously, like sleep apnea postpartum is always a big thing. So like it'll catch your oxygen levels. So I'm a huge advocate. I even got my husband one for Christmas one year and he wears it as his wedding ring. So Matt, if you want to.
Wow.
Good idea.
Yeah. I really, cause I it's not sponsored, by the way. But I'm just asking because I saw it and I do know that, some women just don't have the time or the availability to go get checked. And you know what? This might be just a helpful tool in the toolbox to kind of just give you some alerts. Are you familiar with the Aura ring, Matt? It's
I know
really cool.
From your mom. Yeah.
It's really, really cool. So it will show you exactly what Erica was saying, like your sleep habits, your heart rate, it can detect so many things. I actually just saw a story where a woman found out she had cancer through her Aura ring.
That's crazy.
That's crazy. I don't know. I wonder if it's like her body temperature. Was it what her like body? Oh, well, they do have something called, they're coming up with new stuff all the time, but they do have something called a symptom radar and it always catches it before I do.
It was symptom related because it detected something. Truthfully, I didn't click on the whole article, but I saw it. And, it was something along the lines of like a symptom detection. So it was either like something was very off and she was like, wait, am I getting sick? Yeah. And then I think she got checked and then she ended up with a diagnosis. And I just think that's amazing. So it's so nice for, for women to have that tool in the toolbox as well.
Let me ask you, when you have something coming up, like for example, Alexa's literally a week away from her due date. She knows that hormones are not good for her, right? Meaning that they don't respond well. Is there something that you can do with postpartum? Is there some method? I know it's different for everybody. Have you found something overall that works, like with postpartum?
Like to prepare yourself or your body or?
Yeah, I think the biggest thing, honestly, is just being aware of those shifts in your body and your mind, right? Like we can't say like, you're going to get postpartum or this is going to change. And keeping your finger on the pulse is the biggest thing for me, right? So like making sure you're getting your lab work regularly and not even that, like, I'm a huge advocate of even getting lab work more so than just your regular checkups and not just like your basic. And like, when I say basic, when you go get your thyroid work done, everyone's like, yeah, my thyroid's normal. And I'm like, what do they do? Just your TSH and T4? And they're like, yeah. I'm like, cool. That's 2 out of 7 markers. And one of them doesn't even really show you if you're symptomatic. Right. So like, postpartum, I'm a huge advocate of a full thyroid panel because thyroiditis is really huge. Iron and ferritin, most people like just do iron. Ferritin is extremely important. I don't know if you've known that.
No.
Magnesium, B vitamins, omega. The other thing I would also talk about with women who are pregnant, and just wanting to know like their health history a little bit more in depth is testing for the MTHFR gene. I think that's really important. The MTHFR, it looks like the word motherfucker. So like I always say like, it's basically the mother effer gene because it does cause a lot of issues with infertility, mental health, autoimmune disorders. Your body basically cannot methylate certain vitamins. So like people who have that gene are just wasting their money on vitamins and they're not even being absorbed in their body. But women are primarily the carrier for that gene. So I always tell women who are planning on getting pregnant or having, or postpartum to go get tested for that gene.
Wow.
Because it can really help you postpartum, but also help your baby for like things that child's going to need in its future.
Wow.
So let me ask you this. Obviously you see what I love about you is you see the back door, right? You see everybody coming to you with, certain issues that doctors haven't been able to help them with. And if you were to say that there's one issue facing women right now that's not being talked about, what is it?
Honestly, I think it's just the mental health aspect of what hormones can do to you. We're often I know we've touched base on that, but I'm actually writing a book about that. About just,
oh my God, I will buy that so fast.
It was just only 50 years ago that women were thrown in mental health institutions with the label of hysteria. And guess what age group those women were thrown in those mental health institutions with hysteria? They were between the ages of 35 and 50. That is a prime time where your body is changing hormonally. And we just threw them in mental health clinics and wrapped them up and said goodbye and did nothing to them, right? Suicidality is up 3% year over year in women 35 to 50. Divorce rates are high between women 35 and 50, and women are initiating it. There's just a lot of statistics about what the female body goes through mentally that's not being talked about. I love right now that it's a really huge thing where menopause is a huge thing. I don't know if you're seeing it on social media, right? Like perimenopause and menopause, but everyone's talking about the same symptoms, like sweating the bed, low libido, gaining weight, muscle, but no one's talking about that mental health aspect because it's scary. Women at that age were still having kids, right? Like you're having a baby in a week. Mm-hmm. We're scared to talk about like, oh shit, like if I had this thought, are they going to take my baby away? Like we're raising babies, our parents are getting older and they're still working. So like, we're going to be in that weird balance of taking care of them and taking care of our kids while our bodies are changing. And what it does to our mental health is just really detrimental and it's being ignored. And hormone replacement therapy in general, right? Like I tell every woman, I want you to be open to it. There was a study done in 2002, I believe it was the Women's Health Institute came out and said, hormone replacement therapy is bad for you. It's going to kill you. It's going to give you breast cancer, brain cancer, heart attack, and stroke. And those statistics of women over the age of 40 or 45 using HRT was so high. And when that study came out, it dropped below 10%. And what's the one thing that raised in that time frame of hormone replacement therapy saying it's bad and being taken away was antidepressants and statins, because women mentally were not okay. And hormones are the missing piece for so many people. Now, yes, there's risks for everyone. There's risks for everyone. There's a risk absolutely for everyone. And that's why it's important to do your due diligence, especially if you have hormone-related cancers that are in your family and run through your family. But for the most part, the risk is so small. So just the general impact of what hormones can do to your mental health is it's vastly underserved. And I think that's the biggest thing. And the more I share about it, women postpartum, when your thyroid, messes with your estrogen and progesterone, your gut health messes with your estrogen, progesterone. It's how you methylate those hormones. So if your gut health is bad, it's going to then suffer your sex hormones, which then impacts your mental health. So the list can go on, and it really just comes down to like, okay, what are our hormones doing and where are we lacking? Instead of just throwing women away and tossing away the key and saying they're crazy or they're hysteria and just all these terrible things, like why don't we give women what they need and really empower them to look into that?
What's like a stable diet? Like what foods do we want to incorporate to kind of regulate the hormones? What should we stay away from? Is there anything we should keep in the house? I know you mentioned obviously like vitamins like omega and magnesium, which I'm big fans of. And I think those are so important, especially postpartum. But like on a daily basis, like what should we be ingesting that will help that gut health, kind of regulate some hormones or at least help the situation?
Yeah. So if I had to like give a broad example, like obviously everyone's a little bit differently. Right. As a broad example, I would say, don't start your morning off with caffeine on an empty stomach. I know there's studies, wavering, and some studies lately have come out and said like, oh, it's not that big of a difference. But I do notice like having all that acid in your stomach just doesn't serve your gut health well on an empty stomach. So I'm not saying avoid it, but like on an empty stomach, I tend to tell my clients to like veer away from. Start your morning off high protein, high fiber. I think that's really important. A general Mediterranean based diet is always my go-to for our clients. We don't want you to say no to, fats. We don't want you to say no to carbs. Like those are things like your body, especially as a woman, needs. Fat, like avocados, oils, nuts, seeds, those things need to be incorporated. I also think looking into eating seasonally where you live locally. So a lot of people don't realize your gut microbiome is different based off where you live, right? So like there's different in-season fruits and veggies based off where you live. And you want to feed your gut microbiome those things locally. So making sure you shop for locally and eat locally, like not locally, but seasonal local food. So like what's in season for Florida is not going to be the same thing for what's in season for Wyoming, right? Like we have very different gut microbiomes. So we want to be able to feed our gut microbiome based off where we live. I think that's really important. The other thing too is like magnesium is always huge. Omega-3s is really huge. I say creatine for any woman who's over the age of 30, 35 is absolutely huge. Creatine is one of the most studied supplements that has been around for many, many years. And especially as women, muscle is king, bone density is king. The older that we get, it helps support our immune system, it helps support our hormones. But overall, like a general base, Mediterranean based diet, lots of fruits and veggies, healthy fats. And some people are like, okay, what about my sweets and my alcohol? I don't think you should get rid of that stuff either. I think you just need to make sure that you incorporate it in a way that's going to work best for you and feed your body well. Yeah. Like, every Friday is our night to go out with pizza with the kids. And I do a gluten-free pizza and, I might have a sip or two of a cocktail and just call it a night. Right. So like, we don't want you to stop living. We just want you to be able to get your body to a point where if you do eat a piece of pizza and have a glass of wine, you're not gaining 5 pounds because that's not normal. But how many women suffer with that? Right. And it's because of things like your insulin sensitivity, your gut health, there's lots of different factors to look into that. But overall, Mediterranean based diet, water first, caffeine is okay as long as it's not on an empty stomach. Lots and lots of fiber is a huge thing. If you're not taking a fiber supplement, I'm going to say, flax seeds or chia seeds. Especially as a woman, if you're not, fiber helps get rid of the excess estrogen. So you don't want a high estrogen buildup. So making sure you're doing that. And then another really big thing I think anyone should be doing is getting sunlight on their face first thing in the morning. It's really important to get that morning sunlight in your eyes, get it on your face and your body. It helps set your circadian rhythm for the day, which helps you get to sleep, helps produce melatonin. I know that sounds like a lot, but like once you just start habit stacking, it's kind of easy, right? Like I habit stack and I make sure I do things like you brush your teeth every morning. So why not brush your teeth in front of a window with some sunlight or step outside, right? Like those little things that you can incorporate in your routine to make sure you're getting everything in.
I love that you say that because the other thing too is that when you look at this, right? So many people I think are afraid to go on a diet or like diets don't work for them because it's like, okay, you do this whole 360 where you have to give up alcohol, you have to give up dessert, you have to give up these things. And I love that. Like, it's like, no, like it's at the end of the week. It's like almost like a reward, like, right? Like eat healthy this whole week. And then on Friday, you have your dessert, you have your cocktail, and I remember like I believe in cheat days. So when I was doing my diet,
in the 80-20, like that's what I've always lived by.
Yeah. I'm the same way. And like to Matt's point, I used to call it a cheat day too, but then I was like, but I'm not really cheating. So like, F that, you know what I mean? Like I'm not cheating my diet, but the thing is like food, I think people, especially in this diet culture. And I feel like we're slowly going back to 90s diet culture, which I absolutely hate. But food is not only fuel for your body, but it's fuel for your mind too. Like it's a connection, it's a connector. Like, so people who say like a moment on the lips is a lifetime on the hips. I'm like, yeah, but that moment on the lips was like an hour of amazing laughter with my husband and my kids and memory. Like it fed my soul, not so much my gut health, but like it fed my soul. So like that produces longevity too, right? So like having a good relationship with food gives you freedom and just the honor of being like, okay, I can enjoy food for fuel and just for pure enjoyment too. There's nothing wrong with that.
Yeah, that's kind of our love language too. Like if we've had a really hard week or like just a really hard day, Matt and I just love our takeout in bed, like a nice
Sounds awesome.
comfort meal. Like not that we do it every night, but we're just like, if we had like a rough ass day, we're like,
Bring
let's
it on.
lay down, bring it on, like get crumble, get whatever, like let's just not stress.
I love it. Yeah.
About like what we're eating tonight. We're so stressed about everything around us and the world is burning around us, but like let's sit. We even have trays. Okay. It sounds bad. But we even have our little trays and we know like when we have our little special meal or like a snack, sometimes it's not even like, you know, maybe just might be like a cookie or like might be just be like we split something.
Yeah.
But that's like our love language together. Yeah. And I still think
coming, you know?
Yeah, like seriously, that does feed our soul. Like it's such a comforting feeling. We're there, we're like snacking, we're like, oh my God, this is so good. We're just enjoying our time together. And then the next day you jump back on track. I mean,
and that's what we want for our clients. Like, you know, I will say a lot of women do come to us where they're like metabolic dysfunction is so high. So there comes a point where I tell people it's not a no, it's just a not right now, right? Because we want your body to be able to enjoy those things and not suffer from it for the next 2 days. Like you hear people are like, oh, I had pizza and wine and I'm up 5 pounds on the scale, or I feel like shit and I'm bloated and I got a headache. Like that's not normal. It's common, not normal. So, you know, there are a lot of times when people sign up with us and I'm like, okay, listen, like you're going to have to really buckle down for a good 6 to 8 weeks. And then we can slowly start incorporating like regular life again. Right. But we want you to build that healthy relationship. We want you to understand what ebbs and flows with your body and actually like be in tune with it for the first time. Because I think a lot of us are just on autopilot when we eat, right? Like we don't really think about it. So that's what we want to achieve with people. So, you know, that's my favorite line. It's not a no, it's just a not right now.
I love that.
Me too. So let me ask you a question.
Yeah.
For you know, we talked a little bit about your morning routine.
Yeah.
Right. What about the nighttime routine?
Oh,
you know, you talked about going in the sun and you know, I love that, like getting your eyes out in the sunlight and just, you know, having that, you know, natural sunlight hit your face and being in the window. What about nap time? What could sleep time?
Matt, you need nap time.
The baby's coming.
You know what?
I'm
okay. I am such a creature of habit. Everyone makes fun of me, but I'm like, you know what? I get a solid 9 hours of sleep. Like my sleep is good and I'm not going to mess with it. So, you know, right now, like here in a little bit, normally I'm outside because the sun's starting to go down. So it's really important to get outside, watch the sunset. The actual orange and red rays from the sun alert your body like, okay, it's time to start winding down and go to bed. And then I will put on blue light blocker glasses as soon as the sun goes down because you don't want to have all that like activity. You don't want your brain to go crazy. My husband too, I don't know who in your household likes the big overhead lights, but like anytime I see that shit on, I'm like, pop it off. Like as soon as the sun goes down, like no.
Don't point over here. Just pointing to me. Don't point over here. I don't put the big light on.
No,
we don't use the big light. We
have
don't
a lot of lights on with you.
But I dim them. Listen, we worked a lot in our new house to make sure like that it's like all LED and it like dims down at when the sun goes down, it starts off very dim. And then if you need it for cooking, whatever, you put it up. But no, don't listen to her, but go ahead. I'm sorry.
So here, if you cook, then wear those blue light blocker glasses, right? That's like super important. If you need that bright light, then make sure you wear those blue light blocker glasses. But
I do. I cook every night.
Yeah. So make sure you get those, a good pair of those. And then my husband is like, who the hell do I go to bed with every single night? So like I start my skincare routine and then after that's calmed down, then I have my silk bonnet on my hair. I take my magnesium glycinate. I take my progesterone. Then I wear a heavy eye mask and then I mouth tape too. Well, I tongue scrape.
Oh no, you're not a taper. You're not a taper, are you?
Oh my
You're a taper.
I tongue scrape. I brush my teeth, scrape my tongue. I will do oil pulling and then I put my mouth tape on. So like I'm a full blown like creature of habit. And then I have a hatch alarm. Have you ever heard of a hatch alarm before?
No, I've heard about it for the kids.
No, yes, we have the hatches for the kids, but not the alarm that like adults can use. Like it's just the sound machines for the kids.
Yeah. So the hatches like mimics the natural sunrise and the same thing like with the lights dimming and things like that. So yep. So, but the thing is like to get really good sleep, you have to get in routine to show your body it's time to wind down. Right. So like get on, like the time change is really hard for people because the sun setting is going down a little bit later. So that's why like lots of heart attacks happen. Lots of people with anxiety start happening because we're going against our biological clocks, right? Like things aren't matching up. So it's important to make sure you get the natural sunlight throughout the day too. So if you work inside in a building, I encourage everyone to go out for 1 or 2 minutes. That's even enough. Get sunlight on your body, like roll your sleeves up. This is going to sound really crazy, but getting sunlight on your stomach actually really helps regulate hormones and gut health. So like go outside the office and just pull your shirt up, right?
I
Like,
totally believe it.
Yeah.
I totally believe it.
So like getting sunlight throughout the day is helpful for your sleep, watching the sunset, melatonin's really good, avoiding blue light blocker glasses, and then just like doing something like putting do not disturb on your phone, reading a book, journaling, things like that to allow your mind to go to sleep. We all know that's the right shit, but people just don't do the right shit, right? Like
you are two people that do not do the right shit at night. I'll tell you that.
I'm exhausted just listening to tell you all the things to do. But
but you have it, Zach. You build it into your life, right? Like my husband's very like Matt. He's like, yeah, no, I don't want to do that. He watches TV as he falls asleep, which is why I wear my mask. Yeah. And then I'm like, I had to get him wireless headphones because I was like, I'm not listening to sound in my oasis. So now he like sits up in bed with these big ass headphones on, in the bright light, while we are put on a mask on and tape on. So like we
are the worst at night because now that we're newer parents to like a toddler, at least for me, that is my like, and of course, actually a toddler that has decided that he does not want to nap anymore. He's on a nap strike and he just doesn't feel that napping is important anymore. So I am a stay-at-home mom with him 24/7. And that nighttime kind of comes and that's like my time. Like the sun sets and it's like, oh my God, what can I do? Like I have my freedom. Like once that hatch goes on and he's in his room, it's like I have my freedom. I have my time to scroll. I have my time to jump on the laptop. I have my time to do the emails. And I know how bad that is. I know as I'm doing it, how bad it is, but it's so hard for me to balance like my time with like now my toddler's time.
I got a question. Yeah. Because this is the only thing I don't understand. So help me to understand this. So you're wearing blue light glasses when you're cooking. You're wearing blue light glasses in the house, right? Is it the blue light because everyone's using LED now? What is the significance of the blue light glasses when you have lights going in the house?
Yeah. So, there's one, I don't know if you've ever heard of Dr. Andrew Huberman. Have you ever heard of him?
No, I never have.
Doctor. There's one quote that I will always tell people. And he said, having blue light exposure, at nighttime is like having a really high in sugar snack before bed. It has the same effect on your brain and your body. So like I notice the days that I stay up, like Paradise, like God, that show was so good on Hulu, so my husband and I, same thing like you two, like at night was like our time to like unwind and watch TV. And a couple times I forgot my blue light blocker glasses because I'm pretty diligent about it. And I could not fall asleep for a good 2 or 3 hours. And I kept thinking like, what? Did I eat something? Did I do something? I'm like, oh shit. Because like once you actually realize what it does to your body and you go without it, you are like, damn, it really does have an impact on my brain. Like your brain can't settle down, your body can't settle down. And, they're even showing like, to your point, like how the light bulbs are made, like all the blue light that comes from the light bulbs, like studies on like what it's doing for women's cancer, endocrine disruptors, like there's actual light bulbs that you can buy now that have no blue light in it. So I think it's going to be pretty fascinating to see all the studies that continue to come out about what blue light actually does to our body.
Yeah. Now, do you have to have like a really quality pair? Like, do you have to be careful when picking them out?
Because I did
get a pair on Amazon once, and who the fuck knows if those are real or not? I mean, I was probably wearing them for zero reason at all for a while.
The ones on Amazon are like $20. They look super cute. I'm going to be honest. The real legit ones are ugly as shit. Like they're orange framed. Okay. They're hideous. They're not really cute. And so like, I hate going out. Like I have not gotten to the point where I can go in public with them. Like I'm not there yet. I'm just not there. Like I will wear them around the house until I'm blue in the face. I'll like be on a FaceTime call, but like I will not wear them in public. But yes, like you really want to make sure you get a really good resource. I personally like to use EMR Tech. There's a couple other really good ones. You'll know that they're good when they're like $80. Do you know what I mean? Like the ones that for $10
Okay.
Amazon, you're just not, they're not.
So look at the price point.
Yeah.
Okay.
Like even if you're like, okay, I can't afford those right now. Like not everyone has the luxury of dropping $80 on blue light blocker glasses. There's things that you can do on your phone. Like you can change your phone to red scale on the colors. So putting it red is really good. The same thing, you can do a free program on your laptop. If you're working on your laptop at night, there's a free program where you can change the screen to look red. My kids say it looks like a murder mystery, but whatever. I'm like, I'm saving my
Whatever
health,
works.
you know? Yeah. So
To your house.
there's things that you can do for free that can help. They're not going to be like the best as blue light blocker glasses, but they'll be really beneficial for you.
Yeah.
Let me ask you this too. So we talked a little bit about the blue light glasses and kind of how it helps you and kind of winds down, right? My other question is that when it comes to sleep and when it comes to getting into bed, how important is it with temperature of the room?
So important. Cooler is better for you. Cooler is better for you when you sleep. So, you know, again, there's so many studies, like sleep studies just in general, but across the board has been, you know, cooler, dark, quiet, right? Like that's the rule of thumb. So we even have like I've got 2 Frenchies in bed, and like I've got windows open in Ohio in the wintertime just to make sure that my room stays cool enough with all these damn dogs and a human in bed, right? So and you'll notice too, like when you get your Oura ring, because I know you're going to get one, girl.
I am.
You will notice like it'll even flag like when you're not so much your basal body temperature, but like it'll flag like a symptom radar if like you're just warmer at night. Because of those things. And you'll see how it affects your sleep. So it's nice to correlate like, oh, okay, it's definitely hotter. And like I moved too much in my sleep, or I was up too much or got less REM sleep. So it's all connected, which is really fascinating.
So let me ask you this. Is it ever too cold in your room to go to sleep? Like,
no, I'm I'm weird, Matt. So I have the room frozen, the windows open in the dead of winter, but I have a heating pad. Please tell me.
Yeah, okay, that's what we do. But let me ask. So I'm nervous.
Yes.
I shut the heat off in our room. Like I drop it down to like 50, and I'm like nervous because like obviously our bed is the same thing. We have the heating pad on. We get into bed, and the room is cold. But like sometimes I wake up and I got like, you know, my nose is running because it's so cold. I'm thinking to myself like, oh my god, like am I doing something
like,
bad?
Is this
am I
not
doing something
good for
wrong?
my health either? Yeah.
So have you heard anything about this? Like, is there ever too cold? Like, obviously, we don't want it to be freezing. We don't want it to be 32 degrees in there.
I don't know if I've ever had someone go as low as 50 before, but like, I think it's just a general life rule. If you're getting icicles on your nose, it's probably too cold. You know what I mean?
No,
I feel like we do like 65.
No, I've been dropping it. I've been dropping it because here's the thing: is that the whole house is heated, right? So you still get the heat. The windows aren't open, so it's like an incubator. You still got.
Well, listen, my whole body's an incubator right now. Forget it. I'm sweating away. I mean, the hormones are just. Please, I wake up like wet. I don't care if it's. We need the windows open.
I think it starts like our bedroom at night lingers around like 60, 62, 63. Yeah. Like that's really where we are with it.
Yeah, that's a good temperature to fall asleep. Yeah. But you know, all these things too, I tell people, like to your point, Matt, you were like, God, I'm so tired. Like I'm exhausted hearing about all these steps, right? Like it gets really, really overwhelming. And then it gets to be too much where people are like, well, fuck it. I don't want to do any of it at all. So that's why I'm like, pick 1 or 2 things that have like my morning stack or my evening stack or the afternoon stack. Stick with those for a couple months and then slowly implement another one, right? Like if you're going to do all this at once, it's just going to stress you out. You're never going to stick with the change and you're going to be like, F it, I just rather be unhealthy at this point, right? So, you know, whether it be like blue light blocker glasses or no overhead lights and, you know, stop eating 3 hours before bed, like those are things like pick and choose what's going to work for you right now and then slowly grow.
That is the best advice because I am absolutely, I'm guilty. I mean, I live a pretty healthy lifestyle as like my husband knows, but I get very overwhelmed hearing this stuff. And then like being a mom and like being pregnant, like I know I'm just a mess right now because I'm pregnant, but you know, I really want to like correct myself for postpartum this time to hopefully have a better experience with my hormones. And I'm really wanting to do that naturally, which is why I asked you about the Oura ring and things like that and supplements and vitamins that I'm going to take. But I love that advice because for me, I am someone that like, if I hear, okay, 20 steps in the morning, 20 steps at night, I'm going to be like, what the fuck? Like I'm done. No, wait a minute. Not for me. It's not for me.
How about your doctor said to you, like, you should try, I don't know what he was like getting to. He was talking about, remember you went on that diet. It wasn't a diet. It was like when you first started pregnancy or something about cutting out what were you cutting out? Was it
no dairy, no sugar, no carbs, no gluten? It was like,
so Alexa went on. Okay, that's
oh my
what I
God.
know.
I did it for 7 days straight. I don't know how I did it. I had like bacon and a couple eggs in the morning.
But it
like
got to the point where like you were like
insane. I was
checking
like,
all
oh
the
my
ingredients. You were checking all the ingredients. I remember you like driving yourself crazy. Being like, oh my God, I had this. Oh my God, I accidentally had sugar in it. Oh my God, I had this. And it's
like, how much is there? No, it was 7 days too much.
So I love that you say, like, go slow.
Yeah.
Right.
You know, go slow.
Don't overwhelm your system. Just, yeah.
Yeah.
And then I think the other thing too is like really finding like kind of tricking your mind, right? It's like, it's all in our minds. And I think that like even today, I went to the gym. I don't go to the gym. I should go to the gym, but it's like, I don't want to go. I don't want to go. I don't want to go. But like, I trick myself and I tell myself, okay, like go to the gym only for 10 minutes. You only have to go for 10 minutes to a 20-minute routine, right? Or 10-minute routine, because you tell yourself that. And then, you know, you get there and you end up saying an hour and a half, right? And doing the full body. And it's like the same way that we convince ourselves, oh, we make a million excuses. I don't want to go to the gym because of this, and this. It's like, and then, you know, you convince yourself out of it. I like to trick my mind to say like, okay, I'm going to go. I'm only going for 20 minutes. And then like when you get there, it's like you feel so good that
you get to 20 and you're like, oh, I could do this for like another 10.
Yeah,
another 10.
Exactly.
Another 10.
Yeah. I say just start for 5 minutes. Just start for 5 minutes and see where 5 minutes takes you. And if I just do 5 minutes, at least I went and I did 5 minutes.
Let me ask you, Erica, while you're here, it's crazy because I keep on getting bombarded by the soul that's here. Did you lose like this mother figure to you? Like, was your grandmother like your mom?
No. She's still around too.
Okay, there's two souls that are here. There's a mother figure that's here. Like I said, I didn't know if it was a grandmother or who was. There's a soul that's here. I feel like she passed with breast cancer. Did you lose some breast cancer that metastasized?
So my grandmother, who's still here, had breast cancer and beat it.
Okay.
Yeah.
So she's still here in the physical world. Mm-hmm. I wonder if it was her mom that had passed, because I kept hearing about breast cancer. I have a soul that's also here that's telling me that they also passed of addiction issues. Did you lose somebody with addiction or had the addiction issues here in the physical?
Oh, man. So it's kind of hard. this is kind of crazy. I actually just met my paternal side biological family like 2 years ago. So
that's crazy.
Yeah. So I don't know too much about, like, maybe I have some people on the other side who've been looking over me on that side. So I don't know.
Find out, because you've got some interesting souls that are here and that are with you. And like one of the souls that's here, like that I feel like struggled from like the addiction, I really feel like it had to do with alcoholism. And I also feel as though that they did take their life. And it's interesting because that soul's coming through. I don't know if you met them. I don't know if you met them or if they were just, you know, someone from like your family tree, but those souls are here and like in and around you.
Interesting. Yeah. Not that I can think of, but you know, it's interesting. I've always, you know, going through what I've gone through, the mental health aspect, and like having gotten to that dark place, I told my husband, I'm like, I understand. Like, I've always thought it used to be like a really selfish act, and I hate saying that. And now I'm like, I understand why people do that now. Like, their mind is so tormented, and I have like a whole new, what's the word? I guess viewpoint about. Oh, thank you. My husband just turned the lights on for me. Just about that. So it's interesting that I have someone on the other side who's going through that. So or who went through that.
Yeah, it's interesting because like that, I was wondering if that was the connection, because I see that. But you know what's weird too is that I do believe that sometimes our traumas and our pains and our things that we go through are passed down to us. Like anxiety is passed down. You know, past trauma is handed down.
Yeah,
like it lives. Yeah, and it lives within ourselves. You know, you talked about passing it on to onto babies, like you're passing on that stress. You know, and there's so much that flows through the breast milk, and you know, it's far beyond just obviously vitamins and nutrients. I also believe that it's the emotional baggage as well that we carry.
Yeah.
So let me ask you this: going through your journey of, you know, just this amazing transformation that you've had, how important was spirituality to you? Was there a point where maybe you gave up or you looked to spirituality, you talked to your guardian angel? Like, because I'll tell you, like everything that you described, everything that you talked about, like hearing your story, like what's crazy about life is that it isn't just like a smooth street. I can tell you that as a medium. Every single person that I talk to who you think that their life is so put together, they didn't just get there. There were challenges, there were mountains, there were hills, there were valleys, there were all these things that they went through, right? And it led them to be the person that they were that they are today, right? Same thing with you. Like you wouldn't be here right now. Let me just ask you the question. Would you think that you would be so invested, right? And be who you are today and, having this lifestyle, living this, how do you say it? Like this routine, right? If it wasn't for that past scare that you had with your health, with cancer, with all of that.
Do I think I would be living this way? No, like absolutely not. Part of me thinks like I would have been able to do whatever I wanted to do, I guess, to a point, but not if I didn't have all those motivational factors, like trying to bring me down. Right. Like, yeah, that's a hard question. I don't think I would for sure. Like definitely this calling. Like if you would have told me 10 years ago that Erica, you're going to be on a national platform, national TV, you're going to have beat cancer, you're going to have lost 160 pounds, you're going to have autoimmune disorders, you're going to open, I would have been like, who are you talking to? Like, that's not,
what?
Yeah.
So when you were going through this big battle, right? Mental, physical, emotional, and you felt like you wanted to give up, was there something in you that just told you to keep going? Did you feel like a guardian angel or feel like someone guiding you or just feel like someone in heaven was looking down on you and saying, Erica, you got this? Like, was there ever a spiritual moment like that?
Yeah. So I feel like the one I'm going to say is super cliche, but first off, when it comes like my guardian angel, I don't know how I came up with this it was like, I was 5 or 6 years old. I remember laying in bed and saying, like doing my prayer at night. And I say it still to this day, dear God, thank you for my family, friends, happiness and health, food in my belly, clothes on my back, roof over my head. Please send my guardian angel Cleo down to keep me from any danger, evil, or harm. I said it every night since I was 5 years old. So I always feel like, I'm like, why at 5 years old did I like name a guardian angel Cleo? Like something had to have come over me at that point to like have that intuition to do that. But spiritually, I remember, cardinals are always a big thing for people, right? First off, I hate birds. I absolutely hate birds. They terrify the shit out of me.
Me too.
I don't want anything to do with them. But I was really, really struggling one day. And I said, God, I just need you to show me a sign. And then right out of my backyard was this big ass bright cardinal. And I was like, okay, like when you're so struggling, you're going to look to anything as a sign and you're going to hold on to that. So I was like, okay, I'm like, and it gives you a little bit of happiness and a little bit of hope. So I was like, okay, I'm going to be okay. So then I went to, speaking of like psychic, I went to a psychic because I was like, I need some answers. I'm struggling so bad. I walk into her office. I hadn't seen her for a year. Like I'm the type of person that goes to a psychic meeting like once a year. Like when I'm going through some shit, right? Like I'll go and I walk into her office and right on one of her cabinets was a huge Christmas card of a red cardinal and Christmas had been done and over. And I looked over and I said, where did that come from? She's like, oh, I checked the mail. It got here right before you got here. And I was like, oh my gosh. And so like I've carried the cardinal thing with me. And then that same, my mother-in-law gives us ornaments for a holiday and we never know what it is. And she had no idea. No one had any idea about the cardinal being my thing. And I opened the box and it's a bright cardinal on this porcelain ornament. And I was like how do you ignore that? Right? Like there's no, that's just there, right? Like God is telling me like, you're going to be okay. Or someone's watching over you. So I actually had my stepdaughter draw an outline of a cardinal profile. And that's going to be my next tattoo because like, that's something that even to this day, I see one and for hating birds, I'm like, oh, like I just see it. And it always like, it's the one bright red cardinal where it's like everything else around it, everything else is gone. It's looking straight at me. Like, it's not just a flyby thing. It's always a big, fat, red, bright cardinal that's just like staring at me. So that really got me through it. There was just too many times where I was like, there's something going on. Someone's trying to tell me something or God's just trying to say like, hey girl, like you're going to make it through this.
Well, you know what's so funny is that even when you don't feel like you have like people that are close to you that died, we are given a spirit guide and a guardian angel, and there's always someone listening. Like when you think no one's listening, they are. And that's why it's so important. Like you did the right thing. You asked for a sign. And like, I can't tell people how important it is to ask for signs. Like I can't tell them enough. Like you have to ask, It's a two-way conversation. And then once you get that sign, it tells you like, you're at the right place. You're at the right time. We got you. We're listening. It might not be working out the way that you want it or in the time frame that you want it, but it is working out, and don't lose faith. And I think that that's what people need to know more of, right? It's that when you go through these challenges, when you go through these situations, it's like there's something meant that you're supposed to learn along the way. And obviously you're doing that right now. And I just want to say, you talked about the routine, about getting started with, any type of routine is so important, whether it be nighttime routine, bedtime routine, fitness routine. But, also my past as an EMT, I always, if there's one thing that I could change in this world, and I've actually thought about it, I don't want to get political because that's not who I am. But if there's one political thing that I would do is that I would really fight for testing, right? And, testing, that you have the right to test. You have the right to test anything that you feel wrong within your body. But I'll tell you, that now we start to see these medical advances where people are already doing it. Mm-hmm. So for example, if someone's feeling not right within their body, maybe it's hormonal, maybe it's they feel a food sensitivity, whatever it may be, do you believe in those, like, for example, companies like Everlywell or those samples online? Is there a go-to company that people can start before they get in touch with you to kind of get a baseline of what's going on and then come to you and be like, okay, Erica, here's what happened. I took this test and I found out I got this sensitivity. How can you help me?
Yeah. So first off, I love the awareness of these companies. Like, it's more mainstream. It gets the wheels turning for women, right? It gives them a little bit easier access. But I also think there's a little bit of too much of a comfortability. Like, we see a company and we're like, okay, they have my best interest at heart, but we're like, okay, what are they really testing? What are their standards and what's like normal and optimal for them? And I always tell people, like, ask this question: what are you looking differently that you haven't already gotten from your current doctor? So like, if you're going to take this Everly test, if the results come back normal, what are you going to do? What's your next step, right? So like, what are you expecting from that test? Because there's nothing special aside from these are what's normal ranges. There's nothing different from Everly saying the same thing. You want a company who's going to look at a full 360 picture. Now, that being said, I think they're a great resource. I think they're a great, more affordable option for people to get going. Do I wholeheartedly believe in them? They're getting better. Now, one thing I want to say about with lab testing is, or anything in general when it comes to health, you can find any website to agree with whatever point of view that you want, right? So like, there's some major, I won't name any names, but there's some major doctors who follow me that have millions and millions of followers. And they're like, hey, you advocate for lab work that the FDA doesn't think is necessary, so I think you should probably stop that. I'm like, well, the FDA also said smoking cigarettes back when you were pregnant in the 60s was okay. So like, let's not really talk about that, right? So like, you really just need to find an avenue that you feel has your best interest in heart. One test that I really do love that some practitioners don't and some really do, it's called a Dutch test. I don't know if you've ever heard of that. It is a test that's a 24-hour overview of what your hormones are doing. I mentioned it earlier, I think. You pee on a stick 4 times a day. You take a saliva sample 4 times a day. You mail it in, and we can see what your hormones are doing for a 24-hour basis. For women, we want to line it up around their cycle because that's when the highest progesterone and lowest progesterones happen, or lowest estrogen. So we really want to be able to see what's going on and making you symptomatic. So we'll time it up around days 19 to 22 of your cycle. Any doctor for a woman's sex hormone should be timing it up around your cycle anyways. So if you go to a doctor who's not even asking if you're cycling regularly and to send you during your cycle, that's a red flag in general for me. So like, be mindful about that. But a Dutch test is something like, I think we charge $250 for it, which is still an investment for people, I understand. But, the results are good for up to a year. But it explains like not only what your sex hormones are doing, it shows like what your cortisol levels are doing all day. It shows what your adrenals are doing. It shows how you're detoxing. It shows how you're not detoxing. Like, there's so much good information on there that's really valuable. It's an amazing test to have.
So wait. Let me ask you this question.
Mm-hmm.
Because, I think that the big thing is that a lot of people, before they get into a routine, they're like, wait a minute, I just, right now, I'm not, before they sign up with you and they go through the whole coaching process, maybe they first of all just want to find out what's wrong. And I think that the hardest thing is like I said, the access to testing. I remember during the COVID pandemic, it was freaking horrible because all of the emergency rooms were shut down in Rhode Island, meaning that like they couldn't take anybody else. Like they were saying, stay home because COVID is so rampant unless you have a major illness. So at the time, Alexa and I had both come down with this terrible illness. And later on, we found out it was the flu, but we didn't know that. So we did the telehealth method and we called in and we're like, hey, listen, I have to call in because I can't get to my emergency room because of the COVID. And I'm so sick. And anyway, we had 104 fevers. It was horrible. Long story short, he had said to me, well, it sounds like the flu. I'm going to give you a a medication, that you can take for it. It was what's it called?
Tamiflu.
Tamiflu.
Yeah.
What people don't realize is Tamiflu has horrible symptoms, especially if you don't have the flu, right?
Yeah.
It's worse than the flu.
Yeah.
So I'm like, I'm feeling like absolute, like I got hit by a bus. Like I don't want to take this Tamiflu unless I know I have the flu. Yeah. So anyway, I'm like, can you get me a test? He's like, go into any pharmacy. I go into the pharmacy and call the pharmacies. Nobody can test me. Nobody can do a flu test. Pharmacies can't do it without a prescription. The labs can't do it without a prescription. Nobody can get me this flu test. So I call him back. I'm like, hey, listen, can you write me a script? He's like, I can't. I'm across state lines. And the state you live in, you have to, whatever. Long story short, I could not get this flu test. I ended up taking the Tamiflu. Thank God it worked. It worked. So I did have the flu, but I'll tell you, that was so frustrating to me because all I needed was that test. And it's like, I couldn't get it. So my question is that can people come to someone like you and just get a test if they want to?
Yeah. So, there's lots of different modalities now, right? Like there's a difference between someone who just wants testing and someone who wants testing and then coaching. I think one website, which is really great, is called walkinlabs.com. Anyone can go on walkinlabs.com and they have all these testings and you pay for it there. They have doctors in every single state. So they will write scripts. You will just print it off at home, take it to a LabCorp or LabQuest, get your same day appointment, get your results back in 2 or 3 days, right? Super affordable. It's everything from like plaque buildup in your heart. It's everything from flu. It's like everything. So before I owned my company, that was something that I would do pretty often, right? For my own thyroid, because hell, it takes me 8 weeks to get into my endocrinologist and I have no thyroid. Right. Like I can't be waiting 8 weeks. Right. So like, yeah, look, I mean, there's so many different things now in 2025. It's not even funny. Like there's access. You can even, I think even like LabCorp or LabQuest has their own portal now where you can you can request lab work and then go through them to get it. I mean, it's just wild, but I would say like Walk-In Labs is definitely one of the more affordable ones if you don't want to sign up for like a functional practitioner, right? Because I'm not going to lie, functional medicine is really expensive. It's really predatory-ish. What do you say? How do you say that word? Predatory-ish?
Oh, you're asking the wrong person. I talked to them, Dan. I can barely speak English these days. So
it's they'll be like, oh, you know what? I think you have this issue. Let me charge you, $600 for a consult with me and a lab work. And then I'm going to, charge you $1,000 for some supplements on top of that. And it's just like, it's too expensive. It gets a bad rep. So again, making sure you find a really good company who's like we do lab work at cost. It cost me $85 to do a full thyroid panel for myself. I walk into LabCorp the next day. Wow. I get my results back versus my endocrinologist. My copay is $100. I'm waiting 8 weeks and I'm still paying $50 after insurance took care of their part. Right. So I'm out 8 weeks. I'm out $150 versus I could pay a functional practitioner $85, go in the next day, get my lab work back in 2 or 3 days. So, do your due diligence, but there is access out there. Walk-in labs and even Dutch test. Dutch test, you don't need a practitioner to order it. You can order it through the website.
Wow.
That's amazing.
I'm going to tell you, if I have a problem postpartum again, I'm definitely going to do that Dutch test. That's amazing. Yeah. It's so, because you know what? And we were talking about this with our last guest, knowledge is power, research is power. Just simply knowing what's going on is all you need sometimes to be able to make a change or even just have acknowledgement and understand okay, that's off. So, and then I think that will improve mental health because you kind of have a reason and then and then you're not spiraling and you're like, I'm not crazy.
Yes, that was super helpful for me. When I found out my progesterone was within normal ranges, but it was on the lower end. So they were a traditional doctor was yeah, no, you're totally fine. But, from a functional standpoint, my girls were no, your progesterone's pretty low, but your estrogen's high. So the ratio and this and that. So I was able to be oh, okay. If I can just ride this out as things start getting better, I can, knowledge is power to your point, right? Okay, I know what's causing me to go crazy. Just keep putting on. We're in the right direction. There's a reason this is happening. So yeah. And, I have a lot of people who are always oh, your platform scares me because you talk too much about, the mental health aspect or perimenopause and menopause. I'm I'm not here to scare you. I'm here to.
Oh my God. It's the most important.
Yeah, for sure.
It's the most important.
And if it's not you, you have women in your life that you need to look after too, right? If it's not you, it's your mom or it's your aunt or it's your best friend, who are, one of them are going to deal with that issue and you want to be able to help them.
Oh my God, my whole family deals with that issue on the women's side.
Yeah.
And just like you said, the statistics prove it. Women are, more than likely getting prescribed, anxiety and depression medication and, kind of feeling crazy and going through hormones and all this stuff. I mean, come on, like the statistics prove like everything that we're talking about. So yeah, that's just amazing. And I'll tell you, I am definitely going to order that test from you. If
oh my God,
that's awesome.
This is absolutely amazing. I am so happy that you're here, and I'm so happy that I get to meet you and that you get to come on.
Yes, you were like perfect for us today. Yay. It's like we're a week away from giving birth. Like I'm almost going to that postpartum period that truthfully has really kind of freaked us out, because I know that last postpartum, I was just a mess. And I have to say, I'm going into this postpartum now really different and just really, trying to better myself and maybe get ahead of these things that we weren't ahead of last time, which we was the hormonal, and that was affecting my mental, and it's all connected. So that's something that I'm really looking forward to getting ahead of this time. Like we talked about the Oura Ring, diet and exercise, and these tests, just finding out where I am, because obviously we know everything is going to be crazy. I breastfeed, so I already know like that throws you off.
Oh, yeah.
And this was so interesting and so helpful. You are so knowledgeable and helpful.
Thank you. And I will say, just for you personally going through postpartum, don't ever let a doctor say your levels are changing so much, so it's not a good idea to test right now, right? Like, yes, your levels will be changing so much for a year, but don't let them say no to getting those additional tests, because what you're going through now is what you're going through now. So like, we need some preventative things to help with the situation now. So like many doctors during postpartum, like, yo, your hormones are going to be changing for a year. Like there's no reason to test. You're like, cool, love that. But like, we need to figure out where I'm at now and be a little bit more preventative.
Exactly. Because that still makes a difference. Yeah. If I'm off, I'm off. Like, it doesn't matter if I'm off next year or now or whatever. I want to know what's happening in my body now. I don't need to wait and test. I'm going crazy. I love that advice. That is like my favorite advice. And I'll tell you, you helped me a lot. I mean, in this next few weeks, I'm definitely going to be thinking of you. And,
you can slide into my DMs anytime over the next couple of weeks. If you got a question, girl, supplements or testing, you just can ask away.
Oh, thank you. No, I'm going to need it because we're super worried about it. So I'm determined to do better this time. I'm just determined to know more and be a little bit more educated, and then be able to fix what's happening while it's happening. Or like you said, just be able to know and then say, okay, I can ride this out, and then we'll kind of go back and we'll revisit. We'll try different lifestyle changes, and then we'll go back. So yeah.
So Erica, tell everybody, where can they find out about you? Because I know you from Instagram on EricaFitLove, right? But where is you have a website? I know that you have other social media. Yeah. Where is the go-to that you send people? I am EricaFitLove all across the board. The only thing I'm not is TikTok, and I'm EricaFitLove official, which is so weird. And then my website is getfitlovehealth.com. So all my information is there, but aside, you can find me at EricaFitLove on all the platforms.
Easy enough.
That.
That's
I love
fabulous.
That. I'm
I'm so excited. I'm so happy that you are out there advocating for women like me who have a really, really, really hard time with hormones, who are young, who want to get ahead of this early, but who are also later in life and want to get ahead of it in menopause and perimenopause. So you're doing awesome things. Yeah. I so appreciate you. And I know a lot of our listeners are going to appreciate you as well, because you're doing very, very important work.
Can you guys just come home with me and tell me this stuff all day long? Just like sit up with me and like praise me.
Oh my God. I would be saying it every minute, because this is like
keep it coming, girl. I love it.
No, you are someone that I personally needed to find. And I know that if I feel that way, I know there's hundreds and thousands and millions of other women out there that needed to find you as well. So this is awesome.
Thank you guys. I really appreciate it.
Thank you so much for being on. Thank you so much for taking the time.